Okay, kicking things off, we have a recipe from the Café Sucre Farine, and it calls for 3 eggs, which seems like a lot, but we'll see what happens. One thing I loved about this recipe that's different from the others I'll be trying is that it calls to do everything in one large mixing bowl instead of requiring separate bowls for the wet and dry ingredients. Because I live in an apartment without a dishwasher, I really appreciate this time-saving step. All of the recipes that I'm using will be linked below. I really struggled to spread this topping on top of the cake. The honey just made it really sticky. This recipe called for so many pumpkin seeds. I did not have enough room on the top of my pumpkin bread to be able to fit all of them, but I tried my best.
There's just no way. Okay. No. Way too many pumpkin seeds. Like a third of a cup or a quarter cup would be better. Not that many. So some differences already that I'm noticing are that this loaf is a lot darker
than the Starbucks loaves. And the color difference, as well as the fiber content in the nutrition information, it makes me wonder if really the pumpkin needs to be reduced. Like maybe I need to do 1 can for 2 loaves. I don't know, it's just a hunch. So we'll try it out. Maybe it'll be a total failure. And then if we try and fail, then we know that that wasn't the direction to go. Unlike the other recipes I tried, I decided to use parchment paper in these pans to prevent pumpkin seeds from flying everywhere when I went to take the loaves out, and just to make it stick less. For those who are curious, I'm going to include the recipe that I followed in the comments box below, but I would discourage you from trying it. In my opinion, it did not turn out well at all, as you'll see in a bit here. That said, since filming, I've continued workshopping this recipe, and I think I'm getting pretty close to what I would consider to be a copycat version. So if you'd be interested in seeing that recipe, leave a comment below and I'll go ahead and film that and upload it. The way I went about creating this recipe was by looking at the Starbucks nutrition information and ingredients list. But when I first tried this in this video, I was only looking at some of the major ingredients like the pumpkin puree, the sugar content, and the oil. However, since filming this, I've taken into consideration ingredients that I'd previously glossed over, like cornstarch, sodium, and water. This was the moment I could start to tell that things were very, very, very wrong. When I went to mix this together, it felt like cement almost, just this weird paste-like consistency. But I went ahead and baked it anyways, just, you know, for science. Uh-oh, there's thinking. Oh no, maybe I wasn't supposed to check them right away. All right. This is my very first video for this channel, so if you enjoy the content, please give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with what videos you'd like to see in the future. Okay, all of this pumpkin bread is finally made. This ended up being more of a project than I think I originally anticipated. I had 2 goals for this project. The first was to determine if any of these breads actually come close to
resembling the Starbucks pumpkin bread, especially the ones that touted themselves as copycats or better copycats. The other goal is whether or not any of these recipes are actually better than the Starbucks pumpkin bread. I will admit I am biased. I grew up on the Starbucks pumpkin bread and therefore think that this is like the quintessential fall pumpkin bread. But yeah, I wanted to give all of these a test, and we'll see which one reigns supreme. So first we have an actual Starbucks pumpkin loaf, just to set the bar. It is so good. It tastes, I don't know, it tastes like Starbucks pumpkin loaf. It's super moist. People might want to hate on it, but for me, that is quintessential fall. So I'm gonna go in order that I made these. This is the first one that we made. It's really good. Not too sweet, kind of fibrous a little bit. The moisture and the tenderness are really nice, but that to me is nothing like the Starbucks loaf. Loaf number 2. Again, a lot less sweet than the Starbucks loaf. And I think the Starbucks loaf actually has a lot more spices going on than these two. These taste like something homemade and also maybe healthy, which they still have a fair amount of sugar in them, so I wouldn't classify them as healthy at all. But next to the Starbucks loaf, yeah. Okay, now we have my attempt. And right off the bat, this feels very dry, very overbaked. I think I need to practice this quite a bit more to get it right. Definitely also needs more spices. The kind of sweetness is the closest yet that I've had to the Starbucks loaf, so that's kind of promising. And last we have Bon Appetit. I'm not expecting this to be anything like the Starbucks loaf because there's olive oil and a ton of fresh ginger, and we have a maple butter to go alongside it. So this is very much in the realm of, will this be better than Starbucks pumpkin loaf? So let's give this a taste. Whew. Wow. On its own, this tastes like a ginger cake. Like there's just so much fresh ginger. I feel like it almost overwhelms any other flavors that are going on. I mean, it's good, but it tastes just like fresh ginger. It doesn't taste like pumpkin. I'm not getting a lot of like pumpkin pie kind of vibes from it. We'll try it with the maple butter to like really give it its fair shake, since the recipe calls for this. That maple butter is so good. It brings so much to the table. I think this rockets this into first place flavor-wise, but it's really become its own category. So that's been my taste test. It's time to bring these to some friends to try.
How this taste test worked is I cut small pieces of each bread and individually wrapped and labeled them with the letters A through E, because I didn't want to give any of my friends any clues as to which bread was which. I also gave everyone note cards and pens and asked them to grade each piece in secret on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best, and asked them not to talk to each other so that they wouldn't bias each other's opinions. And then at the end, everyone revealed their answers. So here are the final scores. As you can see, there's a lot of variability, which just underscores how much personal preference plays into these things. In terms of whether any of these recipes are copycats, I think we pretty securely debunked that. There was a lot of feedback that, B and C were bland and E was very, very much like like biting and spicy, and that D was so dry it resembled cornbread. So I think more recipes and more testing are needed to get true copycat status.